Hi guys and gals, and welcome to Farming Simulator 19 Live. I'm Buddy 1927, and today we are back on the Ricci'S map, and we are starting from scratch. I've already laid out some stuff and set up some stuff, but right now I'm just trying to get my logging equipment in place. Part of my logging equipment in place. I'm already using one of it. But how's everybody doing today? I know I normally do my streams from 3 to 5, but I'm doing 6 to 8 today. I got trying out the 6 to 8 on Saturdays and see how it does. So we are back on Ricci'S, and the reason why we're back on Ricci'S is I've had a couple of requests to do both if we could. So I decided we are going to be doing live streams of Pleasant Valley right now for Tuesdays and Thursdays, and on Saturdays we will do Ricci'S. Oops, wrong one. There, okay, we're set up. Let's go ahead and start transporting this sucker. So as soon as I get everything set up here and get one more vehicle, purchase one more vehicle, we'll go ahead and I'm just moving this equipment right now. I've been working on this map. I got the shop to the main farm right now, and I'm working on the auto drive, getting that all set up, so hopefully by next Saturday auto drive will be set up 100%. I started working on some fields. For right now, we are going to, if you remember when we were playing, we are still going to set up 4 farms. So right now we are working on the main farm, or the island farms, getting those set up. I guess clear some trees and stuff like that. I think I got all the trees cleared here. I'm not sure yet. And I meant to turn left. There we go. And I completely lost my train of thought. Okay. We're going to be redoing this map, and we are going to start. I had one comment ask about they were having trouble loading this map, and they were unzipping the files and everything, and it wasn't loading. Just put the map into your map folder. Your mod folder, not your map folder, your mod folder, and do not unzip it, and it should be fine. Now some of the mods I use come in mod packs, and I have to unzip the mod packs because they have the zip files for the mods already in there. But you do not unzip mod files, you just put them into your game mod file. And one of the things that I do is one of the things I do is actually I have 2 folders. I have, when I download mods, I download all my mods into one folder on a completely different drive, and that is my mod backup file. Then I will copy the mods I want and place them into my mod folder. I'm in the process of learning how to do maps, so I have a bunch of folders. But one of the things I found out, and it's helped me out a lot, is I always have a backup file for my mods. So in case I decide to download a mod that is not friendly, and I've done this a few 100 times, and it corrupts your map, and you have to it corrupts the game, and you have to uninstall and reinstall the game, and uninstall all the mods, and reinstall all the mods. Instead of going to the websites and getting all those mods, I just take it out, I just recopy those files and put it into the mod file in the game, and I don't have to hassle with that. So I always keep a backup file of all the mods that I use and that I like, and I get rid of the ones that corrupted the games and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that go. There's a lot of things that I do a little differently than most people, and I just try to find. I try to do this a little bit more with fun than anything else, and I enjoy playing this game, and I'm enjoying the maps we're doing. Next Friday, I am going to start a new series. It's called Farming Simulator 19 Mars Terraforming. Monday I will be doing the review of this map. Then Friday I will be doing a series on this map. I will not be doing a live stream, but I'm going to be doing a series on this map, recorded series on this map, and it's more of a role playing. It's kind of a role playing map, and the idea of it is you are to terraform Mars, grow food for the colonies. The game is not to make the money, but it is actually to produce food, animals, and start life care on that. So that's going to be a new series starting next Friday. So I will be doing that. And of course, if you have any comments or suggestions, leave them down in the comments and suggestions section, or you can say something in chat right now if you're watching this live. So let me get some things going here. I need to shut that off. I need my farm equipment. We need to go ahead and start getting the farm equipment set up. And oh no, crap. Where's that one? Okay. That's the one I'm on in right now. So where is this the one? No, that's my cedar. Ah, maybe this is the one. Yes, this is the one, and we are complete. We've driven the course, so we can go ahead and start that. That's field 4. And start the vehicle. We'll go ahead and start getting these tractors set up for farming and all that. And start getting these fields ready. Right now I'm on real time, and we are in day 2 of early spring, so I've already did a lot of work in day 1. So we're trying to get these fields set up and get planted. We are using the Ricci'S season GEO for this map, and we got a whole bunch of other things that we're doing for this map. So we need to go to field 5, start this one going. We are using course play for all the fields, so we're setting up the fields as we're going for course play. So next season when we come out to plant, we don't have to worry about getting everything set up. And we got on this map, we got a little beach area and stuff like that, and fire department and all that already on there. I've added another fire department, and I've added a police headquarters, and I've actually added a town hall to this map. So let's get this generated. We're on field 5, field 5. We are 1818. Generate. Good. Alright, generate. Backspace. Save. Field 5. Line. And we'll go ahead and start driving that course. We'll go ahead and get this one done. Are you done? Yeah, you are done plowing. This is the plow, so we can get rid of this. We are on field 2, so we need to go to field 3. And we need to start the engine. I know it's raining, guys. I'm sorry I'm making y'all work in the rain, but that happens. We're all helpers, and you work in the rain. If you don't like it, quit. Oh, you can't quit. You're AIs. Haha. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and get this field set up. This is field 3. And generate course, field 3. Field 3, 11.5, good. Generated. And we'll go ahead and hit save. Field 3. Plow. And save. We'll go ahead and get that one started. And eliminate that. Start the engine. Pull ahead. No, not jump out of the thing. Pull ahead. And we'll start on this field over here. Now I've changed this. I've done this a little bit different than I did the last series that we did on this map. So some things have changed. I got everything into field 10, so we don't have field 10. I'm using field 1 completely on this map. I got all my animals on field 10 and a couple silos and some other things that we got set up around here. So that's going to be all set up. So we are on field 2 and 12 span. There we go. Save. Field 2 disk. Oh, excuse me. Got that saved. Okay, let's drive course. Now fields 1 through 5, I'm sorry, 1 through 4 are going to be set up as wheat. We're going to plant wheat. So let's go ahead and get this one set up. And I'll give you. We got a planter and we got a seeder. Going to change some stuff here and there as we go along. Okay. Okay, and generate course 1, 36, field 1, space. It's not going to take that many. Okay. And this is the planter, so this is going to be field 1 plant, since I'm using plant. Since I'm using the planter, so this will be plant, the other one will be called the seed. Let's go ahead and get into position. We got it saved. I'm using the same fire station I've used on Pleasant Valley Collaboration. It's in German, not American. So, and once I get into modding, I might change it and have a American police station and American fire station. Unfortunately, the fire station I normally use, the American fire station I have, for some reason will not. I did not try yet. Okay, so we got all that. So, tell you what. Oh, no. Field 5 is done, so we'll go ahead and get that set up. Top driver will go to field 6. So fields fields 1 through 4 are going to be wheat. And I need to get some other stuff planted. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do for 5, 6, 7, and 8. Actually, it's going to be 5, 6, and 7. Then 8 and 9 are going to be something else. So then we'll just continue going on to the other fields and get those set up. I have not set up the other farms yet. But we are going to continue on this. Get these fields set up and plowed and planted, at least on this island. And I've been doing a lot of work here, there, and around this map. I basically got the map up the way I want. The only thing I've added in the way of plant and factories is I have 2 diesel factories right now to produce diesel for me, because I haven't set up the mining, which you need mining for the coal, and then you need to get the ore, and it's a pain in the butt. But we'll start getting that set up, and I am going to complete this series. So I'm actually working on 3 maps a week right now. Sunday and Monday, I'm going to be working on the video. Well, my video's already set up to come out on the map review. We can get rid of this. Horse generation, this is field 6. And 1818 space. And backspace. And save. Field 6. Line. So I'm going to be busy, little beaver. I'm trying to hit the wrong button. But for right now, we need to set up, we're going to flashing lights. We need an ambulance, operation 2, stock, non-stock, and tuned. Okay, so we need 2 ambulances for right now. For right now, we need 2 fire trucks. Yeah. So we need 2 fire trucks. 1, 2. Because we got 2 fire stations. Okay, we got a tank. Is this the tanker? Yes, we got the tanker. So we'll buy 1 tanker for right now. We got a small budget. We're going to have a small department. And we're going to need 1 ladder truck for the city. Let's design white. Yeah, that looks good. That looks like the fire trucks. And we're going to go ahead with 30 meters or 98 feet of hose. And buy. So we're going to, while that stuff is setting up, we'll go ahead and save the game. Jump over to the store and start getting our equipment where we need it. Oh yeah, there was one other thing I need to buy. No, there's two other things I need to buy. I'm sorry, because we're setting up the fire department first. Rim is red. Main body color is red. And design color is red. This is the fire truck. This is one of the fire trucks we are going to be going with. Not Nick the Hick. Not New Holland. I kind of like that. Yeah, we'll use that. Of course, we need the souped up engine. Let's go with a 5K capacity. It doesn't look like we want rugged beach locks. We want rugged tires. Polaris. Rockstar. Yeah, let's go ahead and go with those. And while we're here, we need... There we go. Rims are going to be red. Main body color is going to be red. And designer color is actually going to be... Let's do white. Pearl white. Okay. We're going with towing. We're doing mud tires. We're going with that. We're going with extras. So all in. And we got all lights and sirens. Here we go. Going with a full flatbed. These are our brush truck, and of course that. And we are going to buy two brush trucks. Okay, we got our fire department set up. I thought I got two ambulances. I'm supposed to have two ambulances. Let's go back to, I guess I only got one. Option 2. Stocked and tuned. We're supposed to have two of them. I don't know why I don't have two of them. We need two throughout. This is the Ricci'S Hollow is a big area, so we need at least two ambulances to cover the area. Okay, we'll send you to Station 1. And let's see if I can remember how to get to Station 1. It's been a while. Send the first new ambulance to Station 1. Remember, if you need to call, you call 911. Advertising for our community, and there was something I did get to set up, which I do need to set up. Yeah, we're on the right one. And we can do that once we get to the fire department. I think I'm on the right road for the fire department. And do that once we get set up. Yeah, there's the fire station. Is that the siren? I guess that's the siren. Oh no, it's lights. Okay. back the ambulance in. Pump around the outside. Or the engine on the outside. And we'll just park that there. I think it's under miscellaneous. And I need two of them any which way. Yeah, there we are. Communication towers. I need one for over here. Where can I put this? Where can, yeah. Yeah, we'll put that right there. Why won't it? There we go. Put that right there. And the other one's going to be at the fire station. There it is. And we'll set that one up right here. Yeah, that's like, so that's communication towers. So the radius for that. And I'll do the details a little later. Okay, I'm going to tell you all differences between these vehicles. This is what we call an engine or a pumper. This is a fire engine. It has no ladder. It hauls water. It has some water, and this is the main unit for attacking fires with. This is what we call a tanker. A tanker its job is to hold large volumes of water, and that's what this one does. This is what we call a ladder truck, or in this case, we will call this a tower truck because it has a basket to where we can actually sit up here, raise and lower, and fight fire from up here. It would be called a tower truck. If it didn't have this basket here, it would be called a ladder truck. This is a utility vehicle, and these are our brush trucks. Of course, they need pumps and hoses and some Indian tanks and some stuff for fighting brush fires. So let's get into our engine. This be this engine here. We'll go to station 1 also. So we have we have 2 stations on this map. Our station 1, which is where the tourist goes along the beach and protect the houses and businesses along the beach. That's what this station 1's for. And station 2 is a centralized station. It's actually in the middle of the map, or close to the middle of the map, so that it can respond to anywhere else. And the only reason why we will have one engine and one ambulance there, the ambulance will cover all the southern calls of the map, and this engine will cover all the southern calls on this map, on the map here, or assist station 2 if needed. Eventually we'll go ahead and add. We'll back the truck up here, and I'm not going to worry about it right now. I'm going to cheat. Okay, stop. No. There. Nope. No, we want water. Okay. And we got this thing filled with water. It has 20,000 gallons. Usually, depending on the type of engine, a engine holds anywhere from 750 to 1,500 gallons of water. And you also got to realize that sometimes it will pump out 150 gallons a minute so you can go through water real quick on there. That's why you want your engines hooked up to hydrants, which we don't have on this map. Turn that off. We'll go to the next engine, and we'll go ahead and set that up. Oh, I forgot my fire command. Did I ever get an H? I can't remember if I got it or not. If I got the Hummer or not. I think I did. See, I screwed up and did a lot of things, and but also when you are playing this map, make sure you have no other factories enabled on this. Make sure on this map you don't have game altering mods, no factory mods, because you have all the factories that you need, so you don't have to worry about that. I do have silos, extra silos and stuff like that. There's silos throughout this whole thing that you really don't need. Okay, so the south side is set up. We're setting up our town right now. There's the communication. That's the new high. And I went to the wrong fire station. You're supposed to go to station 2, not station 1. Get delivery guys that get confused. Now, I will show you our city center is what I'm calling it. Once we get to station 2, we went the wrong way. I'm an idiot. No, I'm not driving. The delivery guy is driving, and he went to the wrong station. It's him, not me. Yeah, it's him. It's him. Okay, and we are going to turn right. Go over the bridge. We're not going to go through the woods, but we're going to go over the bridge. But we are going to be setting up I'm setting up the Ricci'S Hollow Fire Department right now, and we'll set up the police department. There's two things I forgot. So, first one's supposed to be the ambulance, which we haven't done yet. I see we got 3 tractors ready. I got that factory going on right now. That's it. And I got a diesel plant right here. The city has bought a corner of my land. We are owned by, of course, the global company. I own the land to the right. The city owns the land to the left. And this is the police department. This is the town hall for the city of Ricci'S Hollow, communication center, and we have our fire department. Now, we do have parking. This actually reminds me of the small town that we have here where I live in Wayne County, North Carolina, called Mount Olive. They have the town hall and the police department right beside it, and they actually have the parking almost identical to this. You have the parking for the police department, then you have parking for the city hall, and extra parking right here. Then you got parking for the firefighters over here. And I found this mod to where we can actually set up a parking lot, so it looks a lot more realistic, and I kind of like it. Looks good. Looks a little bit more dignified. Now, we do have grass around City Hall. We don't have any grass around the police department because they just tear up the grass. We have no grass around the fire department except for the side here. Okay, we need to open up these bays. So this is the ambulance bay. This is going to be the engine bay, the tanker bay, the ladder truck bay, and the 2 brush trucks. We go right here, right now. And I'm thinking about setting up a 3rd department later on, depending on how we get things set up. But we need these. We need this for the equipment. And the reason why the ladder truck's being stationed here and not at station 1 is because we have taller buildings over on this side than we do on the other side, because we got silos and stuff like that over there. Now this is my tanker, so before we get going, let's go ahead and get everything set up. Now if you get this tanker, you want water, and then you want okay, it's all set up. So we got water and diesel fuel. Let's go ahead and set up. Oh, it's the ladder truck I'm thinking of. And we are going to fire station 2, okay? Now this has a light underneath. And I don't think I've shown this one. I kind of like the lights on this. It has LEDs all the way around. Kind of like that. It looks nice. Supposed to have a siren. And the siren, of course, is not working. This is a mod that is in development. I kind of like this mod. It's a nice mod, and once it's released to the public, I'll go ahead and I'll do a review on all my fire trucks. But the lights are actually pretty bright. But this is a tanker. We can turn off the lights. He just likes playing with the lights. Now, tankers are mainly used in rural areas where there's no hydrants, and this holds 20,000 gallons of water also, and you can actually hook it up to the engine or the ladder truck and supply it with water, which I kind of like with this mod. But you can see how I got things set up. Oh, you know, while we're delivering these fire trucks, let's go. That's supposed to say fire brigade. Okay, this is my pig silo, and these are all my TMR mixing plants here. So all my pig food and my, which I already got running. I have one sheep pen. I got 2 sheep pens over here. I got 2 chicken coops over here. I got 1 pig silo over here. And all these hold 2,000 each. So this whole, and I have 2 cattle areas. Actually 1 dairy and 1 cattle once we get them set up. We have not set these things up. We do not have animals in this yet. I want to actually get planting and actually have food ready for them. I might buy some chicken feed, and once, oops, yeah, That's not a good thing to do. Ruins the Krone. But we'll go ahead and go across the street. That's how I got my animal all set up now. I'm using... You will see this is actually, when you look at it, this is old blacktop. You got the cracks and stuff like that going on here. And I'm using that as my foundation in some of my roads. And the black roads that you do see are the new blacktop roads. But I'm trying to use mainly the regular blacktop. I might just go ahead and just use this gray blacktop, the old blacktop, instead of the new blacktop. Okay, this is the tower truck. This is Tower 1. Now, we'll check out the lights. Nice lights and all that. I like it. I enjoy it. We can... Oh yeah, we need to fill this up. Okay. The first tank, you got to either use liquid fertilizer or herbicide. It really doesn't matter. And the second one will fill with water. You can't have two... For some reason you can't use two water sources. I don't know why. So the water source is for the hoses. So if you're fighting fire, you grab this. You're supposed to come up here. You hit R, and you have the hose, and it's taking water from the pump, and that's what this is for. So we'll put that back. And the herbicide is for the actual standpipes that we have right here. These are called standpipes or deluge guns. So we got those. This actually unfolds, and you can actually raise this. What's it? That's turns it. This goes up and down. Yeah, there we go. And you can tilt this, and then on a real tower truck, you have the control center right there, that white box there, where the engineer would control it up there, or the engineer can actually hop into the bucket and control it from up here. But in Farming Simulator 19 you can't do that, but it also gives you a readout of the water volume up there, and you can actually get up here and get going once, but you gotta set up the ladder. So let's get back in, and you gotta do that from the front seat. Okay, what is wrong? Why can't I? There you go. So we want to close this, close this. What is going on here? I'm gonna save. I think I was screwed up somehow. Yep. Tab. Yep, I screwed up, so I'm gonna have to restart the game, so I'll be right back. Also stay with y'all. Just take a look. I'm gonna end that. And restart the game. And open it. Okay, let that close. Steam. Open. And it's not restarting. Why is Steam? Let me close Steam then. Something got hung up here. Let me exit Steam. That should take care of it. Let's close that. Now, let's try opening. Okay, there we go. And career, and continue, and load the game. But we got the different fire trucks, and I gotta remember on this map, it conflicts sometimes with the ladder truck conflicts with this map for some reason, so I got to remember not to set it up and all that. Does not have any problems on the other maps I use, but the Ritchie Hollow and the Ritchieville maps, for some reason, the ladder truck, I have problems with the fire equipment. So does anybody have any comments, suggestions? Leave them down below. Oh, while we're loading and waiting for this thing to load, and we're loaded. Let me do this commercial. If you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button and bell. That way you'll know when I upload any videos and when I go live on YouTube. Also, do me a favor, hit that like button. Every like I get gets my videos seen a little bit more and helps grow my channel. And tell your friends about my channel. I'm trying to grow this channel so we can go ahead and start earning money on this channel to where we can have better equipment, better programs for running and stuff like that. So hit that like button. It helps my channel videos get seen. I would really appreciate that. Let's open this up. Let's go to the shop and we'll continue where we left off. Visit. Okay. Okay, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and sell that and buy another one. Yeah, that's tanker. That's not a fire engine, but that's a tanker. That's not a fire engine. That's a ladder. That's a tower truck. So we'll sell that, and we'll just go ahead and get a new one. So it's back. We'll get a new fire engine, and we're using designer white, so the ladder trucks all look the same. Buy, and we'll go back. Go back one more. I want to see if I get. No, I don't. Okay. Well, let me see something real quick. What I've got in the way of trucks. Buggies. Nope. I don't have any trucks that I want to use. So we'll go back to the Wilson. And I had that. What is that? Nissan. Yeah, we'll use that. Get it all loaded. Stock, off-road, and has a hitch. Okay, so this will be one of the utility trucks. We need that. And back one more. And we need to buy this. Okay, I forgot to buy the command center, the mobile command center. Okay, so what we are doing next is we're going to send the ladder truck to station 2. Oh yeah, we need to go ahead and fill this up. Okay, and this is ready for operations. So we'll go ahead and it's a rainy day. We'll go ahead and get this set up at station 2. Road's a little bumpy. Okay, we'll go to station 2, set that up. Tomorrow's my day off. What are y'all planning on Sunday? I'm planning on learning how to make maps tomorrow and maybe do a little recording. Why is it frozen? Do I have a lag spike or am I just stuck? No. Moving. Okay, got a little lag here. Why do I have lag? I got a good computer. Why am I lagging? I think it's the broadcaster I'm using. I might go back to Streamlabs and see how that does with this map. The other maps I don't have the problem. It's some reason with the Ricci'S and the Ricci Holland maps. Okay, we need to slow down because we don't need to be going 120 miles an hour, 111 miles an hour. We don't want to wreck the truck, especially since we do not have such a lag in here. We don't need to be wrecking our brand new tower. No, we don't. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to try using Streamlabs for this map. And see if it's that. See if it's the Oh, I already hit the building. You didn't close the door behind you. And the ladder truck's in. Okay, let's get out of this. We don't need to be. I'm stuck. Why am I stuck? Let's hop in here. There's the lag again. Okay. That's the next one to transfer. Now we use the pickup truck. We'll send this over to station 2. We're just setting this map up today. I know I got all these farm equipment I need to be farming and stuff like that. I'll do a little of that off camera. Let me know how you think about these live streams. If you got any comments, leave them down below in the comments. If you're watching me right now on live stream, say something in the chat. Let me know what you think about these live streams and the videos I do. Leave some comments. If you like it, say, hey, I like it. Leave a comment. And also leave a like. I got some videos that have over 150 views. Average watch time is 10 minutes. And no comments, no likes. Then I got videos that are 35 views, and I have comments and likes all over them. But let me know what you think. I think, yeah, this is what I was talking about. This is new asphalt. That's what this is. And this is the old asphalt. I'm thinking about just using this. It looks, yeah. This is just black. I mean, it's asphalt, and you can tell it's asphalt when you look at it up close. You can see the difference. This is old, and this is new. Old and new. This is sun bleached. This is not sun bleached. I think I'm just going to use the old asphalt from now on. Oh yeah, this utility vehicle has lights. So he has the red lights. This is set up for the fire department. And we'll put him. This will respond to brush fires and stuff like that. Mainly because we will park it back in the back. This would respond to brush fires to help transport manpower that can sit in the back or sit up front. You can have two guys sit up front and stuff like that. We actually use utility vehicles like that for brush fires, especially if they're deep in the woods and you have your brush trucks like this. It's kind of hard because you get your pumps and stuff like that. They're mobile, but you want them concentrating on fighting fire. And sometimes you gotta swap out personnel because you just got to. I mean, firefighters are human beings and they can only do so much for so long. And especially in woods fires and mountain fires, I fought both. And you can wear yourself out. So you need a fresh crew coming in. And what we would do is work. When I work mountain fires, we work 2 hours up in the mountain, then we used 4x4 pickups and transport people back and forth and extra hoses and stuff like that. But, oh yeah, this has lights and siren. That's by pressing the home key and pressing the home key again, turns it on. Let's see. Lights in the grill, you got lights up top. It looks nice. But we would rotate every 2 hours. If you ever watched on the news and they say they had 6 engine companies respond to this fire, you have maybe 5 pieces of equipment. And the other equipment's just parked, and they're using the manpower to swap out manpower on house fires and structure fires. If you get your brush fire knocked out quickly, if you get your house fire knocked out quickly, you have one crew for the attack. And then you have the other engine companies come in and do the overhaul. Now, my first fire department back in the 80s, we had engine companies. Well, we had city and county companies. The company I belonged to was a city-county company. It was independent host company in Frederick, Maryland. It's the oldest fire company in the state of Maryland, and one of the 8th oldest in the country. And it still is established, and it was volunteer. The only when back in the 80s, it's probably has some paid personnel by now. A lot of volunteers are hiring paid firefighters at least during the day, or 24 hours now. But we had one engineer, and they drove all, and it was a city employee. It wasn't hired by the county, but it was a city employee that would drive the first engine out. Everything else was handled by volunteers like me. But we were an engine truck company, and what that means is we did both. We were engine company, so we attacked fires, and we had a ladder truck. Our ladder truck only responded to county fires, not only time we went into the city was for second alarms and stuff like that. So what we would do, and I was the truck, and I raised up to the rank in that department, to the rank of captain, and I was in charge of what they call truck operations. What truck operation is, you would ventilate the building. Your job is to ventilate the building. The ladder truck also had rescue equipment on there, like the jaws of life and stuff like that. You could use it as a rescue squad. Also, had the same equipment that the rescue squad has, was also on the ladder truck. So in the county, sometimes our ladder truck responded as a rescue squad. Now in North Carolina, a rescue squad is this, nameless. Now that's not a rescue squad. The rescue squad has extrication tools and rescue tools, and a ladder truck in Frederick County at the time was set up to be a rescue squad also as a ladder truck. Ladder truck operations consisted of setting up ladders in all the windows, taking care of ventilation to get the smoke out and the heat out of the building so the firefighters can attack the fire. And that might be venting the roof, it might just be smashing out windows. And the ladder company's responsibility was responsible for search and rescue. They would search the building, see if there's anybody in it, and then do a secondary search. They do a primary search and a secondary search. Primary search is done by one person. A secondary search is done by a second crew. And the reason why you want that is one crew, when they do if you use the same crew on the secondary, you will end up actually, you might miss the same thing that you miss with a second set of eyes. What you might miss on the primary, secondary might take them to look at and see something different and search a little bit. We'll search a little differently. So I started this thing up. I did. Okay. Now, this is our mobile command center. So we'll get this set up. Now we do have lights. Don't have sirens, but we do have lights on the back thing. And we'll transport that. And this would be utilized for something. We can utilize this as a vehicle to transport firefighters and stuff like that, along with the ATV. But as I was saying, the ladder company is responsible for ventilation, making sure the building is ventilated. And then they would do the primary and secondary search. You had two different crews doing primary and secondary search. and rescuing anybody who's in that burning building out. While the engine company primary role would be attacking the fire. So in my department, I started off as a junior firefighter. But when you first joined the department as a firefighter, you started off, we called them, you had hose jockey and truckies. You started off on the engine company. And you learned how to fight you learned the basics in firefighting. So you learn how to attack fires and stuff like that. And if you wanted to become a truckie, you had to go through special training. You had to go ladder operations, ventilation, search and rescue training, rescue training, extrication training, high angle rescues, low angle rescues. You go through a lot of training to become what you would be called a truckie. Now, a truckie is responsible for doing the truck operations on a fire scene. On a rescue scene, it's responsible for the rescue operations that go on while the engine company stands by. And the ambulance crew took care of the patients and set up. They would take care of the patients and would set up a relief station for the firefighters or a rehab center for the firefighters so they can cool down, get checked out, making sure that their blood pressure and all that isn't too high. The number one killer of firefighters, at least back in the 80s and 90s, even nowadays, but it's not as often. It's not as often as it is now as it was back then. The number one cause of firefighter death was not firefighting. It was not dying by fire, not dying by smoke inhalation. It was actually dying of either heart attacks or strokes. And they started back in the 80s. They started doing rehabs, start setting up rehabs on major fires, and they found out if the firefighter would, after fighting, would get the vitals check and cool down. And I'm going the wrong way. I'm trying to back this thing in. So that's what you did. They started doing that, and the firefighter does not go back into firefighting until all the vitals were normal, and you would sit out for an hour or two, and that's what they did. Okay, next we need to set up the police department. So I'm not going to use that one. I am going to use this one. This is one of the K9. I'm actually going to buy 2 of these. Okay. I'll go to Wilson. I'm going to get 3 of these. And now we're going to have stock. Yeah, we'll get... Now let's get this regular engines. And we'll buy these. That's 1. That's 2. And that's 3. We'll buy 1 of these. Now, you get 2 options. You got stock or with a wing. I don't like the wing. I like the stock. It has police in the back. Emergency 911. This would be, we'll call this the Chief's car. It has K9 on it, but and we'll use a stock engine on that. And then because we have mountains and stuff like that, we'll buy 1 of these. And we'll get that turbocharged. And this is actually highway patrol, but this is designed for off-roading and stuff like that. And let's go to the cars. And yeah, there it is. We'll buy this. Rim color is going to be blue. As blue light. This is the police ATV. So let's start setting these up. These have lights and sirens, and we'll go ahead and start setting up the police department. Now we only have one police department, and it's centralized on the map, so they can quickly respond to any location, and they will patrol. Since we got 3 sectors, we got 3 patrol vehicles. So that's why we got 3 patrol vehicles. We got 2 canine officers, and they're set up for 4-wheel because canines are not just for sniffing out drugs. They also are for search and rescue in the mountainous areas and wooded areas. Okay, I'm gonna try and make logic out of this. Okay, guys. So let's go ahead and get. Yep. Lag coming up, and turn coming up here soon. Okay, over here, pull the vehicle over here, and we'll get out of the vehicle. Thank you. And we'll open up this bay. Open up this bay. Open. I think this one opens. Maybe this one doesn't open. Okay, that one doesn't open. So we'll park. One Jeep, we'll park both Jeeps in here. Because these are the canine dogs and stuff like that, so. We'll get all this set up. Dog. My mom and my sister and her husband and my nephew all came home, so she had to go say hi, and now she's back. I guess they let her out. So, you got a lot of different operations with police. Canine dogs, are used for search and rescue, and also for drugs and stuff like that. So we'll get that set up. And we'll have our fire, EMS, and police all set up. And we won't have to worry about any crimes being committed in Ricci'S Hollow. And fires will be taken care of. I am going to set up, I'm going to make a map. I got burned buildings and stuff like that. And once I figure out how to make maps, I'm going to make up a map. This for my emergencies. And get some multiplayers, and we'll do a series on police, fire, and EMS. Now, EMS, does anybody know what EMS stands for? EMS stands for Emergency Medical Services. That's if you're having a heart attack, that's your response. If you are car accident, they're the ones who treat people in the car accident. If you have a headache, they're the ones who treat you. Now, most EMS or ambulances have paramedics on them. But I will tell you, in my 35 years, 90% of the calls that are done, that we receive, are not like in the movies. 90% of the calls are what we call basic calls, or frequent flyers, or stuff like that. 90% of the calls, you do not need advanced life support. And you really don't need paramedics. Actually, about 5% of all the calls, at least in my career, 5% of all the calls were paramedic level calls. Now, paramedics are nurses. They do everything a nurse can do in the ER, except for one thing. A nurse has to follow a doctor's directions. We have to follow what we call protocols, where we don't need a doctor telling us what to do. Oh, they are. Back up, back up. You're supposed to be backing up. No, neatly. Back up. No, you need your brakes fixed. I'm going forward and you're going backwards. Stop. 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 Well, let's do that. Okay. So we got 3 patrol vehicles and yeah. They got lights and sirens. Yes. Just like real cops, it has lights and sirens. So we'll go ahead and get that vehicle, get those vehicles taken care of and transported over. But 90% of all the calls, it can be actually boring some days. But 90% of all your calls are what we call basic calls. You have 3 levels. Currently, you have 3 levels of EMS. You have EMTs. Then you have, at least in this state, you have EMTs, EMT intermediates, which is basically advanced life support. Start IV. Basic is just a basic. They do basically first aid, and they're trained in advanced first aid, and take care of cuts and bruises, and simple calls where you don't need advanced life support or paramedic level call. Then you have intermediates, which is basically advanced life support. They can do IVs, push searching drugs, mainly respiratory drugs, allergic reaction drugs. They can intubate people, and intubation is when you get a tube stuck down into your trachea so you can breathe. And they can do cardiac monitoring and give some cardiac meds, like nitroglycerin, aspirin, of course. And of course, basic can give you aspirin and nitroglycerin. Also, no, I'm sorry. No, basics. Yeah, basics can now. When I first started, basics weren't even allowed to. The only medication basics were allowed when I first started was oxygen. Then you got trained in, but I started off in the state of Maryland, and things, and this is back in the 80s, things were a lot different than what they are now. Then you have your intermediates, advanced life support. Then you have your paramedics, which can do a bunch of things. They can do surgical procedures like tracheotomies, where they can cut a hole in your throat and put a tube into your trachea through your throat. If you can't get a tube in through the oral, through the mouth, you cut it into the hole and start breathing the patient that way. But intermediates and paramedics are both trained in trauma. So if you've got to have some skills. But paramedics can give higher medications, like pain medicines, and they are more. And they also have more in-depth cardiac training, so they can give more cardiac medications. If your heart stops, they can push. If the heart stops, intermediate can push FE and a couple of other cardiac drugs. They can push more cardiac drugs. If you have dysrhythm, they can do any. When you have a paramedic ambulance, it's basically a portable. It's a portable ER. It's an ER on wheels. They can basically do everything in the back of that ambulance that you can do in the ER, and that's what the paramedic is. Paramedic is advanced a lot. Has advanced a lot than when I first started as a paramedic. Yet, somewhat in Maryland and North Carolina is totally different. But when I first started off as a paramedic, I could do a lot of different things. I could do a lot of things as a paramedic. Then they changed what a paramedic can do. And they took away a lot of the things that I could do back in the 80s and early 90s. And now they're coming back to where paramedics can do a lot more. They're basically like a medic. They're like a medic in the Army on the battlefield. Their job, well, actually EMT, intermediate, and paramedic, their job is to stabilize the patient and then transport the patient to the ER and treat them as you go along. Paramedics now, when I was at the end, I became what they called an advanced paramedic, to where I could actually do more. I was able to do more surgical procedures, like implementing a chest tube into a patient and doing more advanced stuff. And I was in the state of North Carolina when that was when that program started, and only at that time only 15 they started off with 20 paramedics. And when I retired, when I got injured and had to retire, there was only no, we got a thunderstorm going on. There was only 16 of us. 4 of them retired. 4 of them moved to different states. But basically, what we were doing is we were able to prescribe medication. So if a patient had the flu and stuff like that, instead of bringing that patient to the ER, treating the patient in the ER, unless they needed to be treated in the ER, in the hospital, we would write them a script. We would call the doctor, say, this is what's going on, I'd like to write a prescription for this, and the doctor would say, yeah, go ahead. we're always in communications. We have protocols that are set up by the state and by your medical director, which is a medical doctor. And to deviate from there, you would have to contact the local hospital and get permission to deviate from the protocols. One of the reasons why they started this advanced paramedic program, you become a what you call a physician. You are actually trained to become a physician's assistant. You can do everything a physician assistant can do, but you can do it in the field. And there's a lot more training involved. When I first started out in my EMS career, and it was in 1982, I started off as an EMT. You had 20 hours of training. You had 20 hours of classroom training, and you had 20 hours of field training before, and then you have to take a test, and then you become certified as a EMT. And then they didn't have intermediates then. You had what they called a cardiac rescue technician, which was the next level up. And you had to be an EMT for a year, then you had to go through additional 4 months of training. And then you became a cardiac rescue technician. And then you had to be what they call a CRT, a cardiac rescue technician, for a year. Then you can start your training as a paramedic. And back then, paramedic training was an additional 40 hours. Now, you had 40 hours in CRT, you had 40 hours of classroom training, and you had 40 hours of what they call field training. Then you took a test, and then you were state boarding. The same thing with paramedic. You had additional 40 hours of training, and you had 40 hours, actually as a paramedic, I'm sorry. You had 40 hours on the ambulance, and you had 40 hours in, you had to have 20 hours in a cardiac care unit. Back then, that's what they were called. And the so you had, there we got a blue light going. This is mainly for parades and stuff like that, so you can get through crowds quicker. But you had to do 20 hours in critical in a cardiac care situation, learning about cardiacs and treating patients with cardiac situations. And I did mine in Johns Hopkins, and then you had to go through 20 hours of in a trauma center. You had to do 20 hours in trauma center, which I also did at Johns Hopkins in Baltimore. And then you had to do 40 hours of continuing ed every year on top of that. And same thing as EMT, you had to do, I think it was 15 hours back then. And as a CRT, you had to do 20 hours a year of continuing education. Now, as a paramedic, part of my continuing education is not just classroom. I also had to do so many hours in an ER or a trauma center. I had to do so many hours in the ER. I had to do so many hours in a cardiac care unit. I had to do 40 hours of Con Ed classroom training. Then I had to do additional 40 hours of continuing education in either in a hospital, in ER, and I also had to do so many hours in the trauma center, and I had to do so many hours a year in a cardiac unit. So you had to have 80 hours of training a year as park this right here. Fit perfectly in there. Let's park that right there. So you had to do so many hours of training in all kinds of classes and stuff, in all kinds of situations. So there's a lot of stuff that you had to go through. There's a lot of training after you are trained. And now, to become a now you can go from what they call from the street to paramedic. You can take a 2-year class. It takes 2 years now to become a paramedic, and which is the same length of time as it takes to become a RN, a registered nurse. You go through the same training as a registered nurse. You got a lot of stuff that you have to do. So basically, paramedics are nurses. But we can do more than nurses is, because we don't have what we have protocols, so we don't have to say, hey doc, doctor doesn't tell us what to do. But we are different from nurses, and nurses are different from us. A nurse in the ER can do the exact same things that I can do, but of course they gotta get permission from the doctor. The doctor tells them what to do. But nurses also do long-term care, to where as a paramedic they do emergency care, and they transport the patient to the hospital, and that's it. So a paramedic is short-term care, and a nurse does long-term care, depending on what unit the nurse is working in. If they're in the ER, they are just like the paramedic, they do short-term care until they get you to what floor you need to be on. Field 7 line. And there are differences between nurses and paramedics. And I learned early in my career, and I was told this by a doctor. As a matter of fact, I was told this by the guy when I was in my training as a paramedic. The guy who coined the term golden hour. You have basically what golden hour means is from the time the trauma has happened to a patient, you have exactly 1 hour to get that patient to the hospital, to where their survival rating, if it's under an hour in a trauma patient, the survival rating is higher. To a trauma center, I'm sorry, not to a hospital, but to a trauma center. Why am I not turning? I don't know what happened there. We're going to field 4. So he termed this in the early 70s, and he was still a doctor at John Hopkins when I went through my training, and as a matter of fact, he kind of took me underneath his wings when I went through my paramedic training, and when I did my Con Ed and stuff like that when I was in Maryland. He made sure that I was the doctor I worked under when I was in the trauma center, and he arranged for a cardiac vascular surgeon as one of the world's leading cardiologists as my cardiology training at John Hopkins. So he kind of took a shine to me, and he told me one thing: when you are out there in the field and you have a nurse that comes up and tells you that she's a nurse and she's taking over patient care, you will tell that nurse, no, this is my patient, I do not need your help, you can go on. unless that unless that nurse is an ER nurse or a surgical nurse, because they can assist you then. If they are not a nurse, if it's a cardiac, they're a cardiac nurse, and so on. But if they were just a regular RN nurse, do not have them help you, because they will try to take over, and they don't know, they don't have a clue what they're doing in an emergency situation. So he told me never listen to a nurse out in the field. Remember, you're the one who is in charge, not that nurse. If you know that nurse personally and you can and need their assistance, fine, use that nurse. If you don't know that nurse, don't. And my mother, who was at that time the head nurse of the ER in Frederick, where we lived, and she also did part of the training, hated paramedics, but yet she was training paramedics. I yet figured that one out. She didn't think paramedics should do a lot of the things that paramedics do, and a lot of nurses just started feeling like that. There's another big difference between, and hopefully this will be eventually taken care of at one of that program I was in, the advanced paramedics program. Paramedics, EMS is basically certified. They don't carry licenses. Nurses have licenses. In Maryland, though, EMS is boarded by the state, same as nurses are boarded by the state, but they're certified. The advanced paramedic program I was in, the training I was going through and all that, I ended up with a license. And instead of being certified, I had a license. I had to have malpractice insurance. I had to have a whole bunch of stuff. Luckily, the county I was going through my training in paid, well, the hospital actually paid for my malpractice insurance, but I could operate anywhere in the state. And that's one of the things. Here in North Carolina, you have to be boarded in each county that you operate in, and not all counties are paramedic levels. Some more intermediate levels, and some are just basic level. We have counties that are just, they have small towns, or maybe one small city in that county, if that. Sometimes the biggest place was a small town here in North Carolina. So depending on what the training is, depended on what is going on here. Why is this? Let's close this for a second. What is going on here? Why is this? Did we not finish? We didn't finish this, so let's bring that back up. And we need to load, don't we? This is field to disk. Okay. Field to disk. And we want nearest, closest. Yeah, closest. What we want to do is set this up, and we want to this. What is this? I forget what it is. I had it on the one with goals. Okay, let's go ahead. We'll get that going. And we are waiting for the disc to be completed, which is going to be week English way. So let's go ahead and get this calculated. Field 2, waiting for that to be finished up, generate. Back, and we'll go ahead and save. Field 2, plant. That's set up and turn that off. We're just waiting for the disc to finish. And we haven't got to this. And this, oh, we're going to be planting coffee. That's right. So there was a lot of change. There's been a lot of changes in my 35 years career. And you know, back in the mid 90s to early 2000s, there was big changes, and they limited and did this and do that. But now they're expanding the paramedic role and the EMS role a lot more than what they were originally, and I kind of find that comforting. But I was also a no, well, yeah, I was an FTO, a field training officer, but I was also a paramedic preceptor. That's the word I was looking for, preceptor. So when they did their time on the ambulance, they had to go under what they call a preceptor, which was a whole bunch, which was another set of training. And as an FTO and as a preceptor, and working in different counties and working in different states, because I worked in Maryland, Virginia, Florida, and North Carolina, and working with different partners and stuff like that. I find a lot of the people I've trying to train and trying to precept, or even other medics I was working with. Luckily, majority of my career I was the senior medic. But I find a lot of paramedics don't, how's the word, they think of it as a job. It's not a calling. They think of it as a job, and they don't put 100% of their training into effect. And I find that a lot with the new generation that I've dealt with of paramedics. And it's just the new generations that are coming out. It's more me. It's not. I mean, I started off as a volunteer, and then I became paid, and then I started working part-time and volunteer. Then I became full-time and still volunteered. I kept my roots where I started as a volunteer. And I actually find some volunteers, even the younger volunteers, people that start off as volunteers instead of going straight from training from certification to a job. I find a lot of the people that volunteered have their hearts more into it. It's more of a calling for them than it is a job. And that's the way you got to look at it. You got to take a look at firefighting as a job, as a calling. You got to take a look at being a paramedic as a calling. You got to take a look at being a police officer as a calling, especially nowadays, with the hatred that the police have to face. And a lot of people have to realize all these jobs they have to recruit from one source. And it's called the human race. They're not robots. They make mistakes. They are human beings just like they are. They make mistakes, so do police officers, so do firefighters, so do so do EMS personnel, so do nurses, so do doctors. People make mistakes, and we have to recruit from a human race. Well, I've done some study on the police side, and I have a lot of friends who are deputies and police officers and agents. And I did my research. Less than 1%, of the people killed in the United States by gun or by violence is committed by police officers. Less than 1% of the entire population, but yet they're the ones being called racist. If a black man dies, it's a racist. Even if the person who did the shooting was black, the police officer was black, it's still racist. Because that police officer is not black, he's blue. Less than 1% of all the police shootings in the country are done by police. Most of the shootings are done by criminals. And I did another study, and I know this for a fact, working in the projects, working in urban situations, listening. As I was a white person. I've been called every name under the book a black person would call a white person. I treated everybody with respect, and sometimes it worked. Sometimes, once I showed them I respected them, there was no problem. There was no issue. If there was another situation going on, boom, there was an issue. But one of the things slavery ended back over 100 years ago. And yes, I know back in the 50s and 60s and the 70s, racism was out there. It's not as prevalent as it is now. But they keep on saying Black Lives Matter. Well, first of all, to me, all lives matter. But they're saying that cops are killing black men. Less than 1% of the black men that are killed in the United States by police are by police officers. 90% are done by other young black men. They're killing themselves. But when a police officer does it, it's racism. Black Lives Matter needs to concentrate on black lives. Yes, they do. They need to get back into the neighborhoods. They need to stop the violence in the neighborhood being caused by young black men. The killing that are being done by young black men. They need to take charge of their neighborhoods if they want black lives to matter. Most of those people that are criminals have a very low education, so Black Lives Matter need to make sure that their people are being educated. They have a school system, but it's being run by gangs. It's being run. It's not it's because they don't want the education. They want a free meal. They want the government subsidies. They want anything. They just want everything handed to them. But yet they're not concentrating on the problem with the black community. And the problem with the black community is not racism. The problem with the black community is that they're killing themselves, and they need to take care of that. So, I'm sorry, I got on a rant, and I apologize. And I'm just going to go ahead and end it here. So I'd like to thank everyone for watching. Again, if you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button and bell. That way you know when the latest videos that I do come along. Also, hit that like button. For every like I get, my videos get seen a little bit more. I would really appreciate it. And as always, have fun playing your games, be safe out there in the world, and I'll see you in the next one.